Hello everybody and welcome to this huge Huitzilopochtli guide for the Aztec civilization. What we will be doing in this video is a quick advance into rushing your opponent's base, harassing those villagers, behind that grabbing a second town center that a huge cost of it gets refunded as Huitzilopochtli mains god bonus, and then spamming those heroes for map control into a semi-fast heroic, getting those great temple units out that can literally nothing beat them at full population. So, there is a lot of strategy into this video. Make sure you watch until the end, because it's super important to follow these steps and you will not be losing any games, literally. Let's go for it. So, before moving on with the guide, I would like to announce that I have officially released the Ultimate Aztec Course. The course includes 21 lectures, 3 hours video duration. This course is designed for all levels. We get to explain the basic for the Aztecs, such as counter system, human units, heroes, myth units, a quiz at the end of the first chapter to see what you've learned from the videos, moving over the Aztec mechanics, such as traps, sacrifices, all the god powers and the favor system, as well as a quiz. You get to have all the way the build orders for all the 3 Aztec gods on land and on water. And at the very end, you get to have 2 guides for every single Aztec god, Huitzilopochtli, Tezcatlipoca, Quetzalcoatl, and quizzes for you to see what you've learned from the course. Every course, including the Aztec ones, are one-time payment, lifetime access, and all updates are free of charge. So, if you wanna learn how to play these 2 bad girls over here, waste no time and purchase already the course linked in the description. You will be, at first, separating those villagers. One of them will be dropping a kalpuli on gold, 2 of them will be gathering hunt, the other villager will be gathering wood. Remember, when we play the Aztecs, during the build order, since those kalpulis are quite expensive, 75 wood, we want to be able to share those, one with gold or wood. So let's say this woodland goes on here, I would probably share this kalpuli here, the woodland and the gold mine, because you can drop off all kind of resources into the kalpuli. Feel free to use it, you know, as a share drop-off point for every resource you have. So, I'm able here to just push the animals next to the kalpuli, just by shooting at them by the opposite direction. Feel free to do this type of micro. If you have the APM, go for it. And then, 2 villagers will be put into wood. Here, so 2 already are on wood. And 1 more to gold, so we have a total of 2 on gold, 2 on wood. The rest will be going to food. And one little trick, if you want to age up really fast like I do, feel free, once you have 150 wood and 150 gold, to switch those villagers to food. So you'll see me doing that. Once I have 150 wood, I will be force dropping the wood onto the kalpuli, and I'll be putting these 2 wood villagers on hunt as well. As well as one of these gold villagers will also be going to hunt, and the other gold villager will be building the temple. Quite straightforward. Alright, we can go slightly faster because this video is mostly about strategy. You can practice build orders yourself. You can also ask me in the comments about build orders and whatever you wish to know. And at first, at scouting, you will be checking your sides first. Because you see, we begin by scouting, finding where our settlements are located and see which one is better to grab or more defensive to grab. And then we will be going for more aggressive scouting. Once you scout your sides, send that spy scout over your opponent's base and see what would be possible to harass early on. You see right now, I switched my wood villager over to food, and we have a total of 10 villagers to food. The gold villager was also switched to food, and the other gold villager is just building the temple and is shifted back to gold. The last villager from the town center will be going to gold. And you're pre-queuing your classical age. You can force drop your food villagers to get that advance going, and we didn't even need a house in this build order, and we didn't even need to use the blood pact god power. So we get to have the blood pact god power used aggressively. So this build order is slightly different than the one I have already posted on my YouTube channel, but feel free to follow this new model over here, because we can get insanely amounts of value with blood pact aggressively at your opponent's base. So, later, while we're aging up right now, we will be switching around the villagers. We're gonna have around 5 to 6 on gold, because those warrior priests are quite expensive on gold. One of the gold villagers will be building another house and everything. We're gonna have around 3 or 4 to wood. I'm having 3 right now. And at least 4 villagers to food, so we can sustain the warrior priest production and the villager production as well once we get to the classical age. Alright. You should be training those warrior priests while aging up to the classical age, and you will be sending them aggressively. With your warrior, with your spy, you're checking. Find your opponent's hunt. Find your opponent's gold mine. You see, this is what I'm looking for. I found the hunt, I wanna find the gold mine now, because that's what we can harass early on, either with Blood Pact or with the scorpions and stuff. We cast the Infested Nest defensively, and here's why. Because here, we're not focusing on an all-in rush. If you're playing against Norse and you're scared of being heavily raided or whatever, feel free to use this aggressively. I don't recommend it overall. I like the standard way. I like playing the safe game. I like playing the skilled game, the macro game. That's what I'm looking for as a high-level player. I do recommend for your own practice to try and get into the macro game yourself. In the long term, it will benefit you. All right, let's continue. So, a defensive infested nest, the extra scorpion reinforcements could help you defend against any type of myth unit raid, so that's another reason we're using it in base. And with the warrior priest, attack hunt or gold, whatever is closer to you. So far, I see the hunt is closer to my opponent, and I'm assuming the gold mine is here, because you don't see it anywhere else. It's right here in the Fog of War, and I'm right about it. Yes, there it is. All right. So, what you will be doing, if you're gonna get some very nice value, you will be sacrificing 1 villager for this rush. You're devoting 1 villager at the temple, preferably a gold villager. And we're getting like 14 favor, and we will be converting one of the warrior priests to a Texipitla hero, to Idle Hunt, and you will be then throwing that hero near the town center. He's gonna lose his life anyway, so use him to idle as much economy as possible. So, use it when you need to. I don't need to use it on 3 villagers. I'm gonna be slightly more patient, and I'm gonna be using it on where more amounts of villagers are located. We're having this snake, also used for the early aggression, and try using your myth units to tank the damage. You see, I'm right now tanking the damage using the myth unit, and I'm now diving the base, knowing that I have Blood Pact available, and most potentially a Texipitla hero to attack. You will be using the Blood Pact on the snake, and you're gonna be attacking those villagers, killing as many as you can. At the same time, while doing this huge dive into the town center, you will be converting one of your warrior priests to this, to the Texipitla. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. These 2 units are going to lose their lives anyways. In 24 seconds, Blood Pact will kill the huge snake, and this hero is also dying because they're on a timer. And dive the base entirely, idle as many villagers as you can, snipe the myth units, and look at this. If we switch, I'm not going to switch, but look at the amount of villagers. 10 idle villagers the entire time, another 5 villagers in the tower. Those hunters will also idle. The entire economy has been idle, and on top of that we get to kill a villager as well. Still idle economy. Forcing a shifting sands for my opponent to basically move into a different location. That could be anything else. If you were playing against Isis, maybe that could have been serpents being used, and you would be able to snipe them easily with these 2 powerful units you have available. But still, this has been a lot of idle time. Even if you don't kill a villager, you are still miles ahead at this point. Because look at all of that idle time. 6 villagers. God powers are forced. Myth unit has died. And behind that, we're grabbing our own town center behind this aggression. Now, if you ask me what the villager distribution should be, you should have equal gold and wood. Because you're gonna be, we built around 3 warrior priests, right? To apply the pressure. Behind that, we're queuing villagers to wood and gold. Basically, 1 to gold, 1 to wood, before getting the town center. We only need 4 on food. Remember, 4 or 5 on food is enough to sustain the villager production, and as well as for 3 warrior priests. And you see the amount, so with 5 on wood and another like 7 or 8 on gold, we're able to get our own town center. We know the opponent is also building a town center, considering we saw shifting sending villagers away, that's most likely a second town center. And remember, we get a portion refunded when you get a fast second town center, or even a third one. Whenever you build town centers, you get refunded with Huitzilopochtli an amount of, it's right here, an amount of 33%. So that's pretty good. All right. Now, what is the follow-up? Here's your follow-up. Yes, we made a successful little rush. We didn't make the opponent resign. So this is why this guide is very focused on every follow-up you need to do when you play Huitzilopochtli. So here is your follow-up. We idled the economy for a long time. We took the lead. We're grabbing a second town center behind that, which is the exact best follow-up for Huitzilopochtli. And what happens now? What do you do now? Now, you build up your economy. You start upgrading the Kalpulis, basically. We need one good Kalpuli. One food Kalpuli. I'm going to be doing it on Hunt. You should also be doing it on Hunt, wherever you have most villagers at. And one on gold. And then we will be building warrior priests. But focus first on economy a little bit. We did a lot of damage. Now it's time to focus a little bit more on macro. Set up your economy now. And in the long term, you'll be extremely ahead. In the meantime, from the favor you gained from all of this aggression, killing the Wadjet, killing the villager, idling and everything, you get favor for that. So I haven't sacrificed a villager yet. You will be using that favor to convert more heroes into a Texipitla to harass economy. So you see, I've been hiding this Texipitla hero slightly, and once I see where my opponent is hunting, I'm sending it right there to harass. So idling even further your opponent's economy while you are freely booming on 2 town centers, upgrading your Kalpulis and everything. Feel free to sacrifice that hero, literally. Send him over the base. His lifespan is so small, so short. Just let him die while idling villagers. More idle time. This is huge. This is so many resources can be lost for the red player. So what you will be focusing at this point is making sure your opponent doesn't hunt, because the one hunting usually has a huge advantage. So, craft, workshop, Kalpuli has been added, the addition, so these villages are having better gather rates. And with 5 villages on wood, we were able to also get the Lamper outpost, so these 5 villages are also having higher gather rates. And the third addition, the food addition, will be put most likely here. How many villages? 8 villages here. Hunting has already very high gather rates. Check that out. 0.9 food per second. So yes, this is where we will be upgrading the food addition. It costs 150 wood. We're very soon about to do that. Behind that, you can pre-queue your heroic age, but we will still focus on classical age aggression. We want to deny hunt, we want to deny gold mines. Sometimes not even entirely deny, but at least harass and idle villagers. There is the livestock pen upgraded on my food, Kalpuli, and this is exactly what you should do. 1 Kalpuli with livestock pen addition, 1 with Lamper outpost, 1 with craft workshop, and your economy will skyrocket. You're gonna have such great economy, the boom will be real. Alright, behind that we're training a couple of warrior priests, once you get that economy setup going and the run, and here's your goal. Aztec barracks units, you know, the war hut units basically, are not popular for their strength. They're quite weak compared to other units, in my opinion, a high-level opinion. What we want to focus with is the heroic age units from the Great Temple. Those units are the type of units we want to mass. And since your heroes, the warrior priests, have no human tag, you know, they're not like Hersir. Hersir has an infantry tag, so whatever counters infantry, counters Hersir. Warrior priests have no tag, they're just hero. Just like a Jason or a Heracles, you know, just less hit points and less attack, I believe. So here's the thing. That means we can mass those heroes. And these heroes are quite useful because they can construct temples, towers, and great temples. So we don't even need to use villagers. We don't need to idle villagers to build great temples. We will be doing that using the warrior priests. So another insane economic boost. If you have the APM, feel free to multitask like I'm doing right now, multiple fronts, harassing those villagers. If you don't have the APM, don't worry, it's okay. Do it in one position. Just select everything like I'm doing right now and walk location by location and you will be fine. That's something you could go for. You could do that. Put the large scorpions in the front line so they tank the town center arrow. They have 35% pierce. And keep just idling those villagers. Whenever you're very short on favor and you have basically no favor to convert a hero to a Huitzilopochtli, feel free to sacrifice a gold villager near your temple. That's fine. Sacrificing a villager to idle 10 villagers is more than worth it. So always go for that. So as you can see, I'm tanking town center arrow fire, but still, look at the amount of idle time that has been forced. It is insane. This is where we're converting one of the low hit point warrior priests into a Huitzilopochtli, and we will be further idling all of those villagers, denying the Migdol stronghold. Now your opponent will likely be able to drop the Migdol stronghold, but at what cost? So you see, we're sacrificing the Huitzilopochtli, and we retreat with everything else. We don't want to lose everything else. And the amounts of idle time is what matters. You see, we haven't been killing villagers. We haven't been killing many villagers. It's just the fact that those villagers haven't been working at all. No resources have been gathered. While behind that, we're going to the heroic age. And while aging up to the heroic age, we get hand axe, pickaxe, husbandry. That's when you should be getting those technologies. Alright. And with the Kalpuli additions, once we get those upgrades, it's like we already have shaft mine and bosso. So that is huge, that is insane, and irrigation, potentially. But yeah, that is just so irrigation for hunting, by the way, so it's kinda crazy. So yeah, hand axe, pickaxe, the upgraded Kalpulis, and yeah, your economy will skyrocket. It's not even gonna be close at that point. Behind that, we're preparing for a big Great Temple drop. Drop a second temple while edging up to the heroic age, because we're gonna need to spam out those warrior priests. We will be building more of these. They're super useful. They collect tonali when enemy units are dying. That gives us favor, basically, a lot of favor. And prepare to drop a Great Temple, whether on a gold mine or on a location you truly need to defend. Here, I've seen the forward base, so I really want to do an aggressive Great Temple. I want to build it here, because I want to be spamming those Great Temple units to push here. You know, the Otontin Smasher and the Shorn ones. These are extremely powerful units, and with the Shorn ones, if I mass them out, or I should say the Otontin Smashers, they do whole a lot of damage to buildings. We should be able to even clean up the Citadel Center if we mass them out. So here's your follow-up in the heroic age. Once you get your Great Temple up, remember, you're no longer sacrificing villagers just yet, because we want to do the heroic age Great Temple sacrifice. So what you will do while building your Great Temple, you're gonna be getting this upgrade Flowery Wars. The Flowery Wars for the temple, because those priests will be giving you way more favor when collecting tonali. This doesn't cost favor, by the way, so you don't have to sacrifice a villager. And here you see me. I grabbed 3 turkeys and I'm ready to sacrifice them at the Great Temple. That's when we will start devoting settlers. We're only going to devote 5 settlers. And we will do that right after this sacrifice here. So I've garrisoned the 3 turkeys. I'm gonna click here in the UI. There we go. And now, for the next 60 seconds, whatever settlers we devote at the temple will give us double the amount of favor. So here, you will be grabbing 5 gold settlers in your base, and you will be sacrificing them at the Great Temple. And look at the amounts of favor we're going to get while this is active. Look at the amounts of favor. We have 3 favor right now. Very suddenly up to 123 favor just for 5 villager sacrifice. That is insane. 123, 120 favor is what we were given just now. from this turkey sacrifice. If you don't have those turkeys, I mean, whatever type of herdables you have, you can sacrifice pigs, cows, goats, whatever. If you still have no pigs, cows, remember that from the Kalpuli, the livestock pen spawns turkeys for you every time you drop a food there, when you drop off, you know, an amount of food over there. So you can just grab them. You will never run out of turkeys, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You will be building a second great temple once you finish with the first one. And the macro is quite straightforward because we're going to have them balanced. You see like 14 on wood, 15 on gold, another 19 on food. Because at the same time, we have some extra villagers on food. Because at the same time, we want to sustain the villager production, right? So if we had no villager production from the town centers, we would only have 15 on food, 15 on gold, 15 on wood. That would be like a perfect resource balance distribution. But you will always have extra on food just because of the town center production. And the units we're going for are the Ortontin Smashers and the Sword ones. Behind that, you will be using this unit, the Obsidian Butterfly, to raid. Once we sacrifice those turkeys and the settlers at the temple, we're getting the wings of its papalotl. This is the upgrade for your Obsidian Butterfly. Because while we're setting up this huge army for a big push, we're using this myth unit to raid. Does insane amounts of area damage, kills villagers in 1 second, and 5 speed, obviously, the amounts of armor and HP. This is one of the best units to raid with, the Obsidian Butterfly. So I'm able to snipe 4 villagers in this location with this little raid. And behind that, while getting the upgrade, you're getting also some either economy or armory upgrades to help you out with the push. Look for villagers to hit. We can slightly go faster here. You see, I'm spamming out those sword ones and Ortontin Smashers. We're gonna go full population with these units. We'll be able to kill literally everything. You will be getting this upgrade as well with the huge amounts of favor we have. It's called the Toloake Transe, or Trains, I don't know how to call it, sorry for that. And you will be upgrading your Great Temple units as well. So, yes, that's on the way. It costs 600 resources total from the Great Temple. It's over here. Very important for a big push. And new butterflies on the way to help you raid. You see, I'm patrolling usually myself on some locations, like with large scorpions, because they're not high value units, so you can use them for scouting too. I do that myself often. And you will be looking to kill villagers with the butterflies while setting up the huge, big army to make the push, the big push in the middle. So you see, it's been a lot of economy management for me. New butterflies on the way. Look at the ability. Once you have the upgrade, you can just use the ability and run away, and the villagers are going to die to the bleeding. Check this out. All these 4 villagers died only from the ability, and you retreat. That's all you need to do. You see those villagers here? Check this out. We have the Obsidian Butterfly upgraded, and now we're going to be using it on top of those 16 villagers. And look at the amount of damage, how good those units are at raiding. "16 villagers died to 1 special ability. This is like literally one of the best myth units to raid. And right now, suddenly we're 20 villagers ahead, and we're having a huge army prepared for a big push with Ortontin Smashers and the sword ones on the way. Behind that, we're getting some armory upgrades. And keep trying to idle gold mines and hunting locations. Once you are done with raiding, once you are ready to push, bring the Obsidian Butterflies back so we can make the big push happening. Remember to update your Kalpulis, by the way. For example, right now, I built a new livestock, a new Kalpuli here for the berries. So I'm switching it. It only costs how much? 50 wood to just switch, you know, because you can only have 1 upgraded Kalpuli at a time. So 1 for gold, 1 for wood, 1 for food. So I'm upgrading it here. And here I should be upgrading the Lamper Outpost. I should be switching it here for 50 wood. So this addition will be put here. if you select this and click here. So that's quite important. And I should be doing the same for gold. This craft workshop, I should be switching it to here, because I have 18 villages here. And here I have what? 2? 3? Yeah, 3. So yeah, you better switch that. Alright. Now we're going back to the game. Once we have a large army, we should be able to start picking fights. And remember, we have the purge available. If you need to use it, feel free to do it. But be careful if you're around buildings, because you don't want to use it around buildings, because your opponent can just garrison and save the selected units. So purge is something that should be used on an open area or defensively. That's how purge should be used. It might not be too useful right now for the big push, but we didn't even quite need it at that point. So we've been hitting villagers, the butterflies are on their way back to help me with the fight. And we're at 190 population, we choose to fight right now. You will be converting at Huitzilopochtli, you know, one of the heroes will be converted to a hero here to help you win the fight. Butterfly on top of the ranged units. And with your taunting smashers, you are ready to apply tremendous amount of damage to buildings. So the push has taken place. Feel free to destroy any type of enemy siege around there. This hero also does area damage, so it's quite huge to use against ranged soldiers. And every time your superhero dies, the Huitzilopochtli, you will be converting a new one already. And just like that, you should be in an amazing position. Your opponent will be resigning. This is one of the best ways. It's actually the best way to play Huitzilopochtli, in my opinion. Yeah. So I would like to thank you everybody for watching. If this guide helped you out, feel free to enroll my Aztec course for deep dives into the Age of Mythology Aztec DLC. Everything is there. All of my Aztec knowledge is posted there. Thank you very much for watching. Like and share the video, and I will see you in the next one.